This is Dabu7. I want to talk about the possibilities of the stock market, the markets period, their algorithms being targeted by these groups that I believe are fronts by the same agencies that had created these tools. And I'm seeing more and more people actually talk about this now. I have an article over here where they're talking about just this, where shadow brokers and others, in all reality, could be fronts being used, as I was talking about yesterday in my live stream, kicking the stuff out there while they're monitoring everything. They're monitoring everything, siphoning all the data, and to me, it's almost, like I said, taking the suspicion off of them and placing it on someone else where they're the victim, that it was stolen from them. When in all actuality, they're wanting these tools out there so they can monitor it. Anyone can pick it up, try to use them, they're going to see it. And do you really think that these tools were kept in one area for someone to download onto a USB drive when they keep some of the highest profile stuff still on floppy disk? And you don't think that they didn't have the fix to any of these tools, that they didn't have a counter, a way to stop it, block it, something bigger, badder? Of course they do. And right now, this cyber attack that's supposed to be underway right now is not going to be recognizable by most because it's not showing a ransom page. It is using the Eternal Blue and then the double pulsar to download the software and the tools to get through and mine. Edelkuz is going to go through and look for cryptocurrency, not Bitcoin, Moreno. I believe that's the name of it. And it's doing this quietly. The only signs is that it's going to bog down the systems and slow them down, the servers and the PCs. Now, we've witnessed, in my opinion, a beta test in all these other countries. The trains in Germany, the hospitals throughout the UK, the universities in China, the banking systems in Russia, and other places hit as well, even U.S. businesses like FedEx. As I said before, what happens if all that goes down in one place at one time? It would cause pure chaos. Now, they're saying that this new cyber threat that's underway can get in and shut down the systems, the connections, where no other malware is going to be able to come in and affect it or try to shut it down or counter it. Now, the talk here with the shadow brokers, this group that apparently got this stuff out there and that they are a front group, is being talked about more and more. And where it sits right now, I can't help but think that a target on the markets would be something they would definitely want. And I say this because for the longest time, they have been trying to usher in a global reset. They have been talking about this forever. They even state that there's no way to achieve it unless the current system comes down. They're talking about a new financial system that they have on tier globally. They speak about it more here in this article. And when you look at who is to benefit from a lot of these things, it's them in the end. So if the system was to get attacked, the algorithms, anything like that, it shouldn't be to no surprise. I've exposed how DB Bank, just one place, has been busted left and right, manipulating the precious metals, the gold, the silver, the platinum, all kinds of other stuff connected to housing back in 2008. They're being called a criminal corporation right now, drug into court, but yet they just get smacked on the hand. Fines in the billions with a B, because they're making trillions and they're getting away with it. No one goes to jail. So how do they cover their tracks in the end? To me, the whole thing has to come crashing down. Similar to Building 7, that was housing all these documents that was never hit by a plane. It come crashing down. It was pulled. They said that live on air. It was pulled. To be pulled, you had to be laced with explosives. So you see, it's the same hands. There's a reason I just mentioned 9/11, because this next one will be on that scale, and it will be the same hands behind it. I've been trying to repeat this over and over and over so you guys see it clearly, who's behind it. And, I'm glad other people are seeing it for what it is, seeing that these groups could be front groups and that this is being done on purpose. And I think definitely they attacked the SWIFT banking system for those that missed it. They had front door access to get in and do this. So why did they go through the back door? Some say, obviously, to cover up nefarious deeds. But this is what is happening. So, to me, I always say, have a plan for a lights out situation. But not just with lights out. The lights go out, that's one bit of infrastructure that could go out if attacked. But the stocks in the whole stock market financially, I think attacking it gives even bigger reason to achieve something bigger. Not just get the chaos they want in this country, but to usher in their new way. You have to do away with the old. And you have to realize that if the dollar falls and other places start to fall, what happens if the cyber attack? I've always asked myself, okay, well, if the US dollar was to fall, then the Chinese currency or some other currency would give rise, if not a new one, at some point. It would make them stronger for at least a short period of time as it shifts, because one would have to take over as the dominant global currency, is the U.S. fiat dollar. Petrodollar has been, for the longest time, propped up, just an illusion, not backed by anything. So when this all comes tumbling down, it should not be a surprise. It almost should be anticipated, because I feel they're anticipating it. And if you really want to bring them all down like dominoes, well, the best way to do it is a massive cyber attack globally. They can achieve it. It's how you can reach all of them. And if all of them are affected, and the leaders of these countries know what's going down, and this is a world scheme on the people, like it's always been, then you're going to see that a lot of these world leaders have been in on this the whole time, and that it's a play on the minds of the people. The people of China, the people of Russia, all these countries, they've been sold out, just like we have in America. That's right. And yeah, a lot of people in those countries are brainwashed with propaganda, just like they are here. They've divided us. Our strength is in our numbers, our unity. It's the one thing they're working to stop, you see? That is the war. That is the battle. They would never want to see the Russian, the Chinese, and American people all standing together. Well, that would be their worst nightmare. That's when it would be game over for them. And at all cost, they'll do anything to stop it. They'll set up this world stage for world war, fund both sides. They'll create the boogeyman, like they have. And yet your brave men and women are signing up to go fight what they created. It's sick. This is a game. It is a charade. That is the truth. And it's just barely being propped up. They're keeping it there. They could keep this there for another year, or tomorrow they could just bring down the whole house of cards. To me, it could be done easily. And everyone's little emergency radios would be saying, we believe it was a cyber attack by North Korea. That's all would have to be said to plant the seed in the minds of the people across the country on who was behind. They've already been doing that. You see? But this talk of them being front groups, shadow brokers, others out here for these agencies, pushing an agenda, makes the most sense to me. They have the most to gain. It goes right back to the same hands that have always been behind every event, and it would be the same ones behind the next. And that's the truth. So, the realities of an attack on the stock market or other infrastructure in this country are very real. We're not untouchable. And I almost feel like this is testing around the globe just to see what they can do and where. And we may see more of it. You may see a hit on certain markets or something. here in the future. If you're lucky, in my opinion, because that's going to be your only sign of what's to come down the road. If they were to hit the markets with a small little test or a little cyber wave that you wake up one morning and everyone's freaking out, the stock markets are thrown in disarray for a short time because of a cyber attack or this and that, that's going to be the testing of the waters right there, if you get that lucky. So, to sum it up, that's it in a nutshell. They want a global reset. They have the power and the means to do it. This would be the perfect way. You now know who the wizard behind the curtain is. Don't fall for the crap. They're going to continue to push this, so be wise and hip to it. Use discernment. And prepare. From here on out, more and more videos on surviving situations like this are going to be coming from me. I've always been in the survival type of mode. I think after the election, certain individuals got kind of relaxed. But the reality is, they're steering this toward chaos. And that's what they want. They want the division in this country. They keep dividing you, and we've got to find a way to counter it. It's just that simple. And to survive an event like this is everything. Have your own food, power, heat, weaponry. We're going to discuss that more in the days ahead. And also, the chances of the effects from the sun, because you can never rule that out. Talk about what man can do here. Lights out, the cyber attacks and everything else, but there's a very real chance, a Carrington event on steroids could come through and happen. An EMP from the sun, a CME, solar winds, there's something crazy. Could affect the grid. It's a possibility. It's something to plan for. And I think that people would sleep better at night knowing that you have a plan you're working on. You're not going to achieve it in one day. Nothing comes in one day. So it's going to take time, dedication, and step by step, you'll get there. And hopefully, people start doing this sooner than later, because I feel the hourglass has been tipped. Not a question of if, but when. Don't have a crystal ball, but all I can say is to have a plan. That way, when it comes through, you're ready. You don't get swept away in the chaos. Lost in the streets, in the division. I will leave links and continue to update. Make sure to tune in Friday at 6 p.m. for Underground World News Live. That will be the new time. Make note of it. Got to move to that time. That's 1 a.m. for Casey, Enter the Stars over there in France now. So if we want to get him on the show, it's what we're going to have to do. And for those that have been sending me emails, I've had a ton sent to spam. I apologize. Been trying to go through it. It's been a ton. Something's going on. There's always something going on here. But chin up. Keep on trucking, y'all. Keep fighting the good fight. This has been Dabu7, and this is Killuminati.